Hey everyone, Mark and Joey here on a Wednesday morning, and part of getting into a rush, we're actually talking about it today, is that our NFL camps are sneaking up on us, and exhibition actually starts tomorrow, first game. The rest of them get started on the 8th, and we got 4 weeks going in there, but we do want to get to the camps before they're out of camp, and so we're going to move on to the Green Bay division. I'm only going to have one thing to say here. I'm going to let you take the reins on most of it. Nothing truly exciting happening in Green Bay, but you know what? God has finally taken over as the coach. I think that's fantastic because Aaron Rodgers might as well coach. He's going to make any coaching decisions. He's like LeBron James, even though LeBron James been in the final 9 times, Aaron, and the greatest quarterback. I can't even watch Stephen A. and Max. If then one more person calls this guy a great quarterback, I'm going to go through the TV. 1 Super Bowl. They don't even get through the playoffs. The guy's hurt. There's lots of things. Oh my God, how they even put Aaron Rodgers in the top 5 with guys who have won Super Bowls, guys that are great quarterbacks, is beyond me. Now, does he have a lot of skill? Of course he does. He's got amazing skill. But quarterback's about winning. They're not about skill. He's getting paid the most money in the NFL. I think he still holds that. No, he doesn't now. But he was getting paid the most money.
Wilson hasn't.
So Wilson, it's a whole other ridiculous story, but at least he's gotten to 2 Super Bowls, so at least he has something.
More years left.
And here we are with Green Bay. Nothing's happened under Aaron Rodgers, but he did manage to get his coach fired. So that was good for Aaron. I think terrible for the team. They have a rookie coach now, which is in there. Just like when they get LeBron on a team, they bring a rookie in so Aaron can actually run the team. And he better be good. I'm telling you one thing, at the end of this year, if they have a bad year again, which I'm going to predict before you start contradicting me, I'm going to predict they have an 8-8 season. I think that the Packers are just not what they're always built up to be. The Packer home field advantage has disappeared as well. I don't know how many games they lost last year, but I know they broke an undefeated streak or whatever. They are not a very good football team. I predict the Packers 8-8. I predict the Packers miss the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers will be traded at the end of the season. I just can't stand one more person telling me that he's some kind of god when it comes to quarterbacks. Anyway, for me, he's not, and he's not showing that he is. And this rookie coach is not going to handle that dressing room very well, in my mind. So there you go.
And I'll kind of play a couple things here. First of all, it is a tough division now. You got Chicago's really good.
He's the best quarterback in the world, apparently. So
that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm just saying it's a tough division. It's a good division. It's a good division of football. Legendary teams, Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit. Tough division. There is going to be, a team that's 8-8 is going to be a bad team in there, probably Detroit. And then, you still got Minnesota and Chicago's got all this hype now, but they're in your second year. We'll get to all that later. But yes, obviously, you've had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers for about 20 years and only had 2 Super Bowls to show for it. It's a little disappointing out there in Green Bay. People will talk about misrun team. They'll talk about bad head coaching, bad players. I feel part of it is the quarterback. I feel like Brady's greatest gift, and we've mentioned this all the time, is a couple of things. Is one, being willing to work with your coaches. Because at the end of the day, coaches control every other player better than you. And at the end of the day, they sit on the sidelines, they watch the tape, and they get information. So there's an ability, there's a skill set to be able to work with your offensive coordinator, work with, not even your head coach, actually only your offensive coordinator, because Brady does that with Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
Even Bill Belichick goes, I barely touched the offense because Josh and Brady have. So there's a tiny skill set.
That's a classy winning quarterback.
Right. That maybe Aaron Rodgers is missing. Maybe he's got that in now. Other thing he's missing, we've always said this, is actually showing up. And not talent-wise, not mentally, not 2 hours before the game. No, physically, guys. Because if you can't play, you have no value. And at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers might be the most skilled quarterback ever. But the fact he can't play every game means zilch when it comes to your team.
He's always running around.
So I agree with you there. And there's a little bit of things there. Now, if you want to talk about the most talents, you can make an argument. I don't know how to judge specific talents. People will say his arm is so gifted, his mind's gifted, but we look at winning as what matters. Now, here's what I'm going to say has happened now. In his later age, he probably has the most control of his team he's ever had in his career. Really, the Super Bowl he won was kind of fluff off Brett Favre's team. Yeah. He came in and won and got it done.
He's done nothing of his own.
Can he build a team that he wants, at least on the offensive side of the ball, and get the head coach really focused on the defense side of the ball to really give him some help? I must admit, the defense hasn't been great for many years, although it was good the last couple of years. His offensive line has been pretty crappy. He's had the receivers, but he has had to run around. Now,
make excuses
can he? Can they have built a team for him now later in his 30s, knowing that he needs more help than ever? I feel like they've gotten some underrated signings this year. They've helped the offensive line a little bit. I think the running back situation is a little bit better. He's got a couple good receivers. Defense is a little bit better. He needs to really make it work for himself if you're going to keep a quarterback like this on your team. So you've made the decision to do this. So now make it work for him. Whether you think that's right or wrong, that's the decision you've made. Now make it work for him. Now, here's a couple things. The most important thing for the Green Bay Packers this year is what? Drama-free, guys. You need to have a season. I mean, they've become like the Lakers of the NFL. It's been pathetic with the drama. And really, now you've gotten rid of a head coach, but now you bring in a head coach that has all these question marks, and really, you still haven't come out and said, well, don't worry about him. I don't want you to question him throughout the whole season, because really, Aaron's running his offense. The only question you should be asking is who's running the defense, and really dig into that. Because they need a drama-free season, really. They need Aaron Rodgers to feel at home. He can't be taken on by the media every game. He's already having a difficult time with the talent in his own division and the talent in his conference now, where every one of these teams in the NFC has just gotten better and better and better. So you can't also be dealing with
he literally cannot get hurt.
Drama.
They have nobody to step in and take over this team. Like, he literally cannot get hurt.
So it's going to come down to, again, can he play smart enough? Can he not have to have the big highlight reel plays? Can the offensive line do enough to keep him protected? I'll tell you what, if they can ever find a good formula, not even a good formula, I do agree with the natural ability. The plays he can make are sometimes ridiculous. And the way he tosses the ball, by the way, is like a flick. But it's like a Cam Newton. He has to play to his strength and not worry about being tough, not worry about making unbelievable plays. Throw the ball on the ground, get out of the pocket, don't get sacked, be smart, and play 16 games this regular season, and the Green Bay Packers will be just fine. But he has to run this team. Now, let's get into specific players.
I want to get back on that, but he has to not worry about the highlight reel. I mean, that's all these guys ever talk about is the Hail Marys he's throwing. As far as I'm concerned, you know what I've always said about goalies in hockey? If you have to make a spectacular save, that means you're out of position. He needed Hail Marys because he wasn't winning the game. And so I hate when these sports guys all talk about these plays. You're getting these plays because you're not winning. You had to get that play to make it happen. And so what did it happen? And now that's all you see on TV. The 70-yard throw, the blah, 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 blah. As far as I'm concerned, he's not good enough because he needed to do that to win a football game. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna dive into it. I'm not a pro football person, but I'm just gonna say whether you think it's him or his team, there's something missing there. And now they've basically given him the reins because they don't have a coach that has any power with him as far as I'm concerned. That he owns the city, he owns the team. So at this point, just cave to what you've decided to do, which is have this quarterback. So now figure it out from there. But anyways, let's go on to what they've really done, which is they bolstered the offensive line a little bit better. The defense has probably got a little bit better. They made a lot of underrated signings because they didn't sign anybody big, which in my mind is the best thing Green Bay could have done. Is no more ego. Really, it's all on Aaron Rodgers. He's the guy. He's got a bunch of players, of no ego and no reputation. So really, he should have control over what's going on, especially on his side of the ball. Now, he's got a top receiver, so there's no excuse there. Davante Adams is an incredible receiver. I love the hookup between the two of them. Any matchup, I give Davante Adams the edge on any cornerback. He's a fantastic receiver. So he's got his number one guy. Now they got, now it's a long name, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who had good training camps, who had a good combine, who's coming out, and people are saying he's potentially close to a 1,000-yard season as rookie. They believe he can get it done. You got to think of the attention that's going to go on Davante Adams.
That's the one thing.
I still think he'll have a 1,000-yard season.
Need a backup.
Because Aaron Rodgers is a guy who's at least loyal to his receivers.
Right.
Will throw those one-on-one balls. So he'll get his touches. But when he's taken care of, I think this guy can have a big season. And it can get close to 1,000 yards. I agree with a lot of people who are saying that. I definitely think he might be a red zone guy. Because, guys like this actually could get a lot of touchdowns, not a ton of yards. Because that's when they mostly focus on the number one receivers. To go, oh, red zone, he's throwing to him. Well, that's when this guy's even more open. And there's less work he's got to do. Because he might not be a great route runner, but, in those situations, it's just easier to get him the ball. So I would expect him to have a decent touchdown year, maybe a decent yards year. And I think, between him and Davante Adams, they can have a good matchup there. The thing is, Davante Adams can't get overwhelmed with specific touches, specific throws. That's where problems will come. But I think Rodgers he was loyal to Jordy Nelson. He's good at the one-on-one ball. I actually wish a lot more quarterbacks would trust the one-on-one ball. That's why you pay receivers in the first place. But it's a good sidekick to him. I think they can have an effective 1-2 punch there with Rodgers at quarterback if he can get protected, which I believe is a better offensive line. Now, the running back position, again, no names. They've got a lot of running backs, a lot of competition there. I think that's always good. I think Seattle proved it's sometimes better to have three good running backs and a great running back, especially with injuries these days. I think the rotation of running backs, having a first down, a second down, a third down back, is very special. And a back that turns into a receiver
that's a good point
on third downs, I think it's a new skill set.
They're all getting touches in practice.
Yeah.
They're all seeing the holes. They're all seeing what the offensive line does. I really like that part. I don't like the run first offense, but
no, but I like the three running backs.
Three running backs. It's the minute you get a star running back out of the other guys haven't practiced, they're not getting a lot of touches in the week. And I like this system. So I think you're right about that. The no-name running back's not bad.
Right, and I think you're banging up your number one guy, which it's tough. Like, even like a Le'Veon Bell, I'd like to see him never really in on first downs. That's a different story. I'd like to see him second, third downs where it's pass run options all the time.
And we'll talk about that.
I think Green Bay will carry a couple running backs into this season. I think they'll do more of a rotation style because they don't have a big running back. They got rid of Ty Montgomery, who had obviously his issues with wanting to running back when he was told not to, and another drama player. So they've got rid of all those little things that can cause problems up there in Green Bay, which is arguably still the mecca of football in the NFL. So I like kind of what they've done there. So on the offensive side, I'm a little bit not pretty happy, to be honest with you. I think it's better than the year before, and they're going to need to do something good. On the defensive side, they were actually decent last year.
They weren't as bad as they had been.
No, I think they were decent last year. They got rid of Clay Matthews, which again I think was smart. Kind of an ego guy, was really the guy there for so long, was taking a lot of money. I think again they're just getting rid of pieces that can get in the media, really, which I think is smart right now for Green Bay. They really need a season of just good football without any drama. So I think that's what they've done. They've done on defense. They've done on offense. Their only superstar is really Aaron Rodgers, and maybe Devontae Adams is going to keep on elevating himself, but they love each other, so I don't see much hate going on there.
Rodgers will take the media, which helps some of these guys too.
Right, so I think it's a very good system they've kind of got going there. They don't really have any big, powerful coaches either to kind of get in his way. I'm very interested. I think it's an interesting season for Green Bay. I see a wild card position, truthfully, for Green Bay. I don't think Minnesota's very good. I don't think Detroit's very good. So really got Chicago and Green Bay there. I'm very interested. I think this is a wild card team. I'm liking 10-6, 9-7. I think that's a wild card position this year. And I think with more control Aaron Rodgers has over the team, the better, because he wants it anyway.
Yeah.
So I think you have to give it to him. And I think they're getting rid of the drama on the running back. They got rid of a lot of receivers. They now have a rookie, and then Devontae Adams, who already loves. They got a bunch of running backs. I think they'll rotate it. They got a bit of a better offensive line. And on the defense side of the ball, he doesn't really care about it, but it's good enough. I think it's good enough to get it done. It's still Green Bay weather. It's still Green Bay. It's still Lambeau Field. You still have an advantage no matter what you say, and take advantage of that. I think you can easily have a 10-6 record, 9-7. I think it's a guaranteed wild card for them. And I'm really looking for a bounce back year with basically, hopefully, everything under the rug is gone.
Well, I think you make a lot of good points with that. I think that Aaron Rodgers should keep tuning up his commercial experience.
Easily could. Yeah, easily could.
He might be hobbling again this year, so all those soft touch commercials are working well for him. I don't see it the same as you do. I just think that he is so overrated when it comes to winning that we'll see what happens. I mean, the potential's there. I can't argue with you. The potential's there for an 11-4 season even. I mean, if he does get some of these guys able to pick up their game and give him another receiver, two receivers to go to, because obviously Adams is going to be double covered most of the time. You could see something special come out of there.
And by the way, guys,
I don't think so, but you could.
If he did pull off a great season, well, the whole team together, if they got any home field in playoff time, that's dangerous. So, they have an advantage there and by the way, I mean, we'll talk about this, but Chicago Bears are only going in their second season with all these guys, so it'll be interesting. I think they have more of an advantage than people think. That's why I like the 10-6. It could be 11-5, could be 12-4.
Yeah.
Who knows how these divisional games will go, which again is a key for a division like this where it's very difficult. Just like, Baltimore division now is very tough. The Seahawks division is very tough.
These divisional games,
they will decide who wins, obviously. There's no easy games. Even Detroit can throw out a tough one out of nowhere. So, it's going to be interesting, but I think if he gets it going his way, he is very talented and can make a run.
All right, well, we're going to see what happens. We don't totally disagree. Our records are a little bit different, but I must admit, he does have the potential to possibly have
the
that
talent's
good
there,
season.
And that's what they talk about.
And you might be at the top of this division because it's going to be tough, as you say. So it's going to be an interesting division to watch, and we'll be back with another team in this division.